I am Tom Blue, the founding partner of Ovation Lab. I'm here at the A4M LongevityFest in the Innovation and Clinical Implementation podcast booth with my friend and colleague, Harry Bane, the CEO of Lifespan.MD. They, as you recall from the opening talk, are the co-sponsor and our partner in the creation of this latest round of social listening research into the longevity industry, and have emerged as, I would say, in my humble opinion and in my personal experience, the most exciting new kind of phenomenon to hit the world of private medicine, which is the entry of high integrity, really ambitious, visionary investors that are breaking the mold of traditional investment in the practice of concierge and longevity medicine. And so I would love if you would be willing to start our conversation a bit with kind of the origin story of Lifespan.MD, because it won't be familiar to people, and it's really, really a different and interesting tale.
Thank you, Tom. It's great to be here. Great to be a part of the conference and the community here at A4M. We're thrilled to be in partnership with you all. So the Lifespan.MD story is a compelling one, and one that starts very back to the personal experience of our founder. Mm-hmm. Our founder, Greg Williams, is a visionary business leader, thought leader, and entrepreneur himself, and has been very successful in a variety of industries in his career. And he had a personal relationship with his concierge doc that dated back many, many years, as many of these relationships always start, the human connection. And he got really sick and was in touch with his concierge doc every day over a period of 6 weeks, and credits his concierge doc with saving his life. And at the end of that experience and personal kind of undertaking, he goes, hey, doc, what's your plan with your practice? And the doctor says, it's funny. I'm in this situation right now where I'm thinking about exiting, and I don't want to sell to the people who I'm about to sell for. What do you think? You're a great business guy and industry leader. I was, maybe we should go into partnership together and think about creating an organization founded on some of the principles and structure that I've been successful with in my past life. Fast forward 2.5 years later, and Lifespan.MD, as you beautifully articulated, is now 20 practices strong, predicated on a partnership model where we really dig deep with our physicians in letting them do what they do best, caring for patients, caring for members, creating a community to service their needs with the latest and greatest technology, infrastructure, and clinical evidence-based medicine to care for their patient population. Well, now with a partner to help them with all of their infrastructure needs to support what they do best, which is caring for their patients.
Fantastic. Yeah, the thing that strikes me as the most interesting, exciting, confidence-inspiring, because when you hear the partnership model, it can sound too good to be true, and it certainly sounds dissimilar from the experience a lot of people, particularly in the medical world, have had with the investor community, where an investor comes in and suddenly you're slashing staff and cutting costs, and it's all with an intention of, let's do this, let's sell again in 5 years. Lifespan has a very long-term vision and a willingness to invest, but it's not just because of a feel-good experience with the founder, but because this is a proven playbook that has been remarkably well received in other industries. Maybe just a blip on, this is a very proven playbook.
It's a proven playbook, certainly. Thank you for calling that out. In the insurance industry, in the title space, and in security services. So there's a model from a financial perspective and an operational perspective that is sustainable in this partnership orientation. And I'd say to add on to that as it relates to, what is the secret sauce and why are we differentiated from an investor perspective, is that we are entrepreneurial. And we are entrepreneurs at heart. So we term ourselves as entrepreneurial equity. And really how we define that is we are in the business with our entrepreneurs, with our physician operators and entrepreneurs, working with them to improve their playbooks and working with them to improve their operations. And what we've learned in our past industries, and now that's very correlatable to what we're doing here at Lifespan.MD, is that this community of physician entrepreneurs and operators are now collaborating and communicating with one another to share a best practice, to learn about service, to learn about orientation of practice to their respective communities that as a standalone, otherwise they may not have had access to as an owner operator on their island. So it's this collaborative spirit and connective tissue amongst the partnership that creates a huge differentiator in entrepreneurial equity.
Well, I had the chance to witness it firsthand at your summit only a month or so ago, and it was so interesting in that for whatever reason, Lifespan seems to attract practices that I've known forever and have had have done work with over time. And so I know the practice owners really well and would be very quick to hear, gripes and complaints if there were any. But watching that group that used to convene in small conferences and was always drawn to the collaboration and collegiality, but there was a sort of the weight of competition that was always there. It's like, if I have a really good idea, I might not want to share it with everybody. And it had completely dissolved. And so the presence of, and maybe we should talk a little bit about the model, because in fact they are literally partners and stand to one day really profit from the collective success of the entire partnership. Yep. Maybe talk a little bit about that.
So certainly. So the economic model is, yes, it takes some risk of capital off the table where there's some value from a cash perspective that is offered and provided to the entrepreneur and physician operator. But part of that value is translated into equity in Lifespan.MD on a go-forward basis. And that creates that connective tissue and that partnership mindset and the economic incentive to continue to grow, to continue to align on best practices, while most importantly, maintaining your clinical operations and practice the way you want to. We're not physicians, we're not clinicians, we're not providers. That's your world. You own that. We do not own that. You own that. What we own is the partnership and the value of how do we create the best practice in the infrastructure where we pool our resources together to be a differentiator. As an example of that is something we're doing with AI and bringing technology at scale to our practices via a partnership we have with Invisible Technologies. As an independent standalone, can't do that. For us, at scale, we can pilot and tweak and test case and bring those resources and infrastructure, and that's another differentiator for us. So to your point on the weight of the competitive spirit that often happens,
right?
The incentives are, okay, maybe we should think about how to work together and collaborate on best practice and collaborate on patient connectivity. To make sure that the value proposition as a member of Lifespan.MD is truly valued for our patients.
Totally. The inclination to cross-refer patients, share patients in certain contexts, it was really, really noticeable. The other thing that was noticeable was so often with the equity component of something, people are inclined to view it as a lottery ticket. But it struck me as I was watching and listening to conversations at the summit that because of the track record of, as best I can tell, flawless success in turning that equity into real wealth.
Yes.
It was taken way, way more seriously than simply a lottery ticket.
It's tangible.
It is.
There's a tangible, known success story and pattern that's been proven. So there are examples for us to point to. As we all know, physicians and people in general are skeptical of that. So what we have is, yes, a playbook, yes, a proven platform, but now we've got the healthcare engine to support that infrastructure and bring the language and the services that our physicians want and expect as they scale and as they grow.
Yep, and the proof's in the pudding. Let's talk a little bit about just the organic growth rate that these practices have seen, and then I'm going to comment on why it's so remarkable. But you tell me.
Yeah, we're proud of it. It's again, yes, you have your inorganic growth, which is a partnership model, but on the organic side, it's been 30, 40% in many cases right out of the gates, because now they have the confidence to drive more value-added services, to learn about best practices from other practices, to add services, to add technology, which creates that value add-on for their member experience and the price point that they're offering that at. So it gives them the confidence to say, hey, maybe there is a better mousetrap for me to think about. And now, 2.5 years in, the price is in the pudding, and the organic growth rate is there to demonstrate that.
I was flabbergasted by that because, again, you all are drawn to practices that are well established, they're already full, and to achieve that, people have to be taking bold steps that they didn't take before. And so there was something about entering the partnership, the inspiration of other people, and understanding the something that is clearly a thesis of the company, which is there is a massive and growing imbalance of supply and demand.
For sure.
It will never resolve. I mean, we just don't have the talent pool to begin to resolve it. The retention rates are extraordinary, and that's something that the founder and the rest of the team spotted and has built on.
For sure. And again, if you think about the supply-demand phenomenon that you're just talking about, in the legacy system, physicians are tired, physicians are burnt out, patients are not happy with their service, their experience, and the care that's being associated with this. And when you take and solve for both of those in this care delivery model, you've got something special to work from. So we are sprinting towards that opportunity as fast as we possibly can, and really working with people who have been in the industry for some time, yourself and others who are way ahead of the curve on this, now have the partnership and the excitement to work with somebody, partner with somebody, to take some of that risk off the table, to figure out, okay, I'm not in this alone anymore. I have someone with experience in business, experience in infrastructure, experience in supply chain management, experience in financial accounting to help support all of that as a partnership. And it's something, again, as I alluded to, we're sprinting towards as fast as we can, and we're excited to do it with our partners.
You know, I think another thing that struck me is the participation in the Lifespan partnership as a catalyst of creative inspiration and, you know, a desire to kind of up-level the practice, in particular in the realm of longevity, integrating whole body MRI, learning about peptides.
Yes.
And of course, there's a collective brain trust that people can draw on to do it. But it was intriguing because you could imagine that practices that are drawn to something that ultimately turns his career into a magnificent asset, might be wanting to just sort of ride out the rest of their career. Not at all the case.
It's the opposite.
Very invigorating.
It's invigorating. It's inspiring.
Yeah.
And that ties back, you just triggered something that I want to introduce and make sure folks understand about Lifespan.MD, which is our core values.
Yeah.
We have 5 core values that I think strike and touch on exactly what you just described. First and foremost is our entrepreneurial spirit. We are entrepreneurs at heart from an MSO perspective, and we match that entrepreneurial spirit with our physicians and their respective teams in the field, and that will always be at the ethos of who Lifespan.MD is. Second, we're accountable to each other and our members. So as you have that reinvigoration, you're part of a partnership, and we want to do what's in the best interest of each other, and we're accountable to that, and always the members are at the heart of what we do. Our third is we act with integrity always. The traditional world's looking at the concierge space and saying, what is that? What is longevity? How do you define that? We need to and consistently demonstrate that we are driving evidence-based medicine. We are doing what's in the best interest of our patients and our members, and acting with integrity is something that will be core to who we are. Fourth, and I think this is the most near and dear and favorite of mine, is we respect the art and the science of medicine. On the bell curve shape of our practices right now, we've got what I would describe as traditional academicians in our partnership model who are doing evidence-based day in and day out primary care and or cardiology services. And then you have the other side of the spectrum, which is longevity, function-based, the latest and greatest technology, and infusing that into their practice, because in that respective world, that's what their members and patients want and expect. And that's the value that they're providing. And everything in between that combines. So we're really excited about respecting the art and the science of medicine. Mm-hmm. And then finally, our fifth value is we're going to be enthusiastic and have enthusiasm in everything we do. This is an exciting space. This is a fun space. Yeah. This is the opposite of the traditional system. So we want to have fun with it. Yeah. So we introduced those recently at our summit that you were at, and the partnership was thrilled and inspired and excited to rally around that.
You absolutely could feel the presence of the values in the group, and to me, a surprising level of excitement among people that have been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
A lot of them, the invigoration was palpable. So I think it feels to me there's an obvious opportunity that Lifespan represents, which is for practice owners that are at the very top of their game and have remarkable concierge membership medical practices. The number one, let's touch on if they're hearing this right now, what should they do? And then before we finish, let's talk about a doctor that's like, you know what? I want to work. This is obviously growing, and I would like to join one of these. So let's touch on those two things, and then before we wrap up.
No, thank you so much because the call to action here is palpable, and we want to make sure we get the word out for folks to understand. First, check out our website, Lifespan.MD. All of the information is there. Please reach out to us because we want to engage with all of you to understand where you're at in your journey, where you're at in your life cycle. And that goes for established concierge groups that you just alluded to, and doctors who are trying to figure out, how do I enter the space? How do I join a practice? How do I figure out how to start and build something? We're here to work with you. We're here to learn from you. We're here to partner with you because that's our model.
That's right. That's right. And many of these practices are literally looking for sort of succession partners. I mean, it's not just rank and file employees, but these are very important additions to the team.
No,
I haven't seen.
Flag.
This is it's critical, frankly, for the supply and demand issue to have entrepreneurial investors making it possible for the practices to expand. And that's exactly what you're doing.
No, thank you, Tom. And it's the perpetuation and the succession planning for these practices is top of mind for all of us.
Yep.
And this conference has been a welcome opportunity for us to engage with and participate in. And we look forward to continue to be a part of the broader longevity and concierge community.
Well, it's a pleasure to fan the flames of your success. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much, Tom.
My pleasure.
Appreciate your time.
Likewise.